Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. This episode of Rogue Ways is lit as fuck because I'm lucky enough to be able to talk with a conspiracy theorist, a deep thinker, an artist, a lyricist, an entrepreneur, a producer, and a dope-ass music creator. Thanos Beats, aka Eric Diaz, is here today to share a journey that has brought him ever further and deeper into the truth of what matters most in life. Thanos, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. So before we jump in,
intro. I love that.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. I like to give people the credit that they're due. Before we jump in, let me remind people that Rogue Ways is part of the Eyes Open Network. This collective of creators is comprised of myself, Benjamin Balderson of Odin's Alchemy, Claude Furry of Talking Nonsense, and Steve Poikonen of Slow News Day. These incredible creators will get together at least once a month to deliver a State of the Union roundtable squawkorama, where you can expect wacky antics, topical philosophical wanderings, and nearly illegal amounts of fun. This content will only be available for Patreon members of Rogue Ways, so go to www.patreon.com/rogueways right now to subscribe, and soon, Eyes Open will have a page on the website, rogueways.org, where we're hoping to list like a bunch of people who have open hearts and open minds that provide services so you can shop within a network of like-minded, sort of trustworthy people. Not sort of trustworthy, very trustworthy people. So that'll be up and running soon. And now, for the pointless question of the episode, Thanos, do you believe that there's any way to truly capture what your creative heart wants to create?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't it? It's your will, right? Technically, you can create whatever the hell you want, right?
That's a good point. I just feel like the things, maybe my will isn't strong enough, because I feel like the things I create sometimes, like my idea of how I want them is too perfect to exist in reality. And I can get like really close, but I can't ever get exactly what I want. Do you know what I mean? Well, like in my mind, it's perfect.
I can make the most complex shit right now. Let's just say in music, I'll make the most complex shit. And to everybody else, it really is the most complex shit. But I'll still be there like, I know it can be better. So I get what you mean, I get what you mean. But overall, if you really take it, if you really sit back and look at the shit that you do and you create, just really like appreciate it like everybody else is, not just critical think over it, that shit really is, it might be what your heart is trying to capture, right? Like, you just overlooking it and trying to be so fucking critical with this shit, you might overlook your own, creation.
I feel it. I love that view. Thank you. That's awesome. Well, so before we get started, I actually wanted to do a shout out really quick to one of my students who might be listening to this at some point. His name is Caden, and he goes by I think his artistic name is JC. And he is a badass. Yeah, he's a badass, and he listened to your music today, and he was like, "Oh my god, I'm excited for this interview!" So he's gonna watch it later, and I just wanted to send him some love because he deserves it.
That's what's up. Shout out my dude JC. Yup.
Right on. So let's get to the roots. What was your earliest life like? How did you grow up?
Love, drugs, street. Violence. I'm an inner city kid, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York City. So my father was a major drug dealer.
Wow.
My mom was an accomplice, Mm-hmm. She was basically down with the whole fucking shit, and here I am, just a fucking baby in the midst of it all,
Yeah.
So yeah, I basically my earliest life is basically watching a lot of street shit, gang shit. My pops being not only a drug dealer but a drug user, so I had to go through that as well,
Yeah.
Seen a lot of fucked up shit, Yeah, my early life is real fucking street.
It sounds super dangerous, like all the time, because at home you probably had danger, and when you're out and about you had danger, and like you're probably never feeling very safe.
I mean, to put it into perspective for anybody that's listening, like outside of my life, it's not as dangerous. Of course, it's fucking dangerous, but it's not as dangerous inside the home as people would probably think. I come from, like I said, it's also involved in love. I come from a loving family. My family is, real Like not it's not like the typical family, you know, where we're like all going out to fucking go play baseball and football and all, you know, and go watch games. It wasn't really like that. But inside the house, everybody was all cool with each other and shit like that. We didn't really have to worry about any violence like that, you know.
That's good.
Yeah, everybody was kind of cool in the house, you know. But outside the house is a different story, you know.
Yeah, it's a jungle out there.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't see my uncles have motherfucking gunfights in hallways. You got one guy sticking his fucking arm out of the damn building, pointing four houses down, while the other guy is down there with his arm out of the building, pointing four houses up and shit, and they're like fucking shooting. It's crazy shit, you know?
Yeah,
fucking wild shit.
You're like, you're not just hurting each other, you're hurting whoever happens to be like in the literal crossfire.
Well, hopefully people are smart enough to not be in a crossfire.
Yeah, true.
You hear gunshots, you better hit the fucking ground.
I guess that's another thing you get from living in that type of environment is you understand how to survive it.
Well, I mean, it's tactical, right? I mean, shit, if you was in war for fucking 2 years, you know, I'm assuming you know how to dodge bombs and bullets.
Yeah.
You know? You know, yeah, like my wife said, PTSD, you know?
Right.
That shit kicked in.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, too, because a lot of people who grew up in that type of situation would have PTSD. So do you feel like that is something that you experience if you want to get into it? Or do you feel like there's like sort of a, you know, I almost feel like people get...
Absolutely. Look, I'd have walked out of my building for doing absolutely nothing. Just saying, you know, hey, you know what? Let's go to the fucking store. Let's go get some Dutchess or some shit, right?
Right.
Just walking out of the building. You have a fucking fleet of dudes running up on you with guns out, talking about hands in the fucking air, you know, got you scared to death thinking you're going to get shot right there on the spot because you know they're pricks already, you know? They're out for fucking blood. So, you know, you think growing up you don't fucking see cops and always have that embedded in you? I could see a cop driving by and he's doing absolutely nothing. He may not even be looking at me. But the fact that I know he's driving by and I've been through shit before, automatically it's like, oh, I gotta watch this fucking dude. You know? Might be watching me. What the fuck is going on? I can't even have cars slowly. Like if I'm going into a fucking grocery store and a car is slowly driving up next to me just to go and like park and go to the grocery store themselves, I'm thinking some shit is happening.
You're like looking around, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, why the fuck this dude is driving so slow? That could be like some knocks and shit in a fucking unmarked car. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
But I've been through so much shit. It's like, man, you always got to keep, you know what I mean? Your lights on and shit, you know, looking around.
You're like hyper vigilant constantly.
Oh yeah.
Your hood eye, not your third eye.
Yeah. My fucking hood eye.
Right.
I gotta keep that shit open.
You got your hood eye and your third eye.
Yeah, you know, my hood eye and my third eye.
I love that. So like, well, that's interesting though, because how do you feel like you got from you know, basically a state of like constant terror and going through all that to a place where because you're clearly, I don't know you that well, but like you said, you had a lot of love in your childhood as well, but you also seem like now you're in a place where you're very loving and open. So what allowed you, because I think a lot of people would go through that same thing and come out a lot more fucked up and lost. You know what I mean? Not that, I don't know, maybe
absolutely.
you went through that.
Absolutely. I mean, I know people personally I grew up with these dudes. With watching them as dealers sell to everybody else, thinking that they're fucking their life up from buying from my friend. My friends end up being the same guys that are now buying from the new dealers. Just fucked up in the game. They just couldn't deal with it, you know? Yeah. In my case, honestly, it sounds nerdy as fuck, right? But you know, video games was like a real outlet for me.
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah. I'm a Final Fantasy geek. Like,
woo! Final Fantasy 7 for the win.
Yes, exactly. Cloud, Sephiroth, Tifa, Yuffie. Yes. I know. Listen, I love that shit.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So, actually, I think Johnny makes fun of me for that. But that's cool.
So you saved the world in Final Fantasy 7 from evil corporations that were literally sucking the lifeblood out of the planet.
Isn't that so fucking deep, though?
Yes, that game. People, I tell people that's the best game in the world, and they don't understand. Like, it's the best game in the world.
Yeah, I think so too. Honestly. But to answer your question, video games was a big outlet for me. It was something that kept me trapped in the house, away from trouble.
Yeah.
It opened my mind to so much shit because, like as you said, Shinhwa was fucking sucking the life force out of the earth. So when you think about that shit and you think about actual, it's like my wife loves to say, life imitates art, art imitates life.
Yes.
And it's so true because when you look at that, that is real life. We are in situations where the fucking earth is being depleted of everything that's good. It's just fucking vanishing,
For money.
For money,
Right.
control,
Right.
overall control, because what is money doing? Controlling everything,
True.
Control is the ultimate fucking key behind all of that shit. Power,
Right.
But yeah, man, fucking video games. And then from video games, I went to learning how to make music. Thanks to my older brother. My older brother went and bought it's a software for PlayStation called Music Generator, made by STV. And he brought that home.
Is this back in the same time period of Final Fantasy VII, or?
Yeah, this is like 98, 99.
Okay.
So hold on, let me light this shit up.
Go for it.
So this is like 98, 99, right? So I get my hands on this software, which is basically a video game, right? It's a fucking video game. It's for PlayStation, but it allows you to create music. So it went from, because they have, like any other software would have a shitload of presets, probably, meant to be there for people to do exactly what I did. I went into the presets to find out how they were making these presets and just breaking it down to the science, and I learned how to make beats. And
So
with
you
me,
like studied the files or something and like saw like the patterns of it or whatever, and
like for instance, if I'm speaking in digital form, right, you would play notes. These notes are being recorded into a pattern, right? So inside these softwares, these patterns exist already recorded, right? So what they allow you to do is I can go into the pattern and actually see which note they're hitting in the pattern that they're hitting them in, So I was able to break it down in my head, like, well, if this is how they're making melodies and this is how it looks, I'll start doing the same thing. Maybe I'll just take their stuff and just try to, play with it and play with it and play with it so it becomes my own shit, And that's what it started, happening. Like, I just started learning that shit like that. I started literally playing things like it's a fucking PlayStation controller. I got a PlayStation controller in my hand.
Yeah.
And I'm making melodies and shit like that, making drums and bass lines and all kind of shit, It was fucking dope. But
that's beautiful. How old are you when that's happening?
And video games is what got me through it all.
And how old were you when you were starting to make beats through the PlayStation?
I started as young as like fucking 13, 14 years old.
Wow. So that's cool. That feels like the perfect time for you to be like visually like working with that. You know what I mean? Like because you weren't taught music. Like you went in and you saw it and then you reconstructed that.
Taught. I was just a couple people not too long ago. They was just over here recording. I was like, yo, I'm not musically oriented as far as like a family background. That's not, I don't come from that. I come from a hood background. I got like street guys as family members, as fathers, brothers, shit like that, mother even, but me, I just might be the fucking beginning of that,
Yes.
So like, and not to cut you off, because I was doing stuff with Music Generator, which was on the PlayStation, and I was already super embedded into video games. Video game melodies are one of my favorite things to listen to because they're so fucking orchestrated and composed beautifully. I love them. So that was a big influence on how I'm so melodic in my music, because those things were just so fucking awesome to listen to by themselves. Like, I didn't have to do anything to it. I remember one time, true story. I remember one time my oldest brother, he seen me and I was just there in my bedroom listening to the theme song of Final Fantasy II, right? And he's like, what the fuck, you in love or some shit, bro? What, you in love? And I'll never forget that shit. And that's one of the dopest fucking heart melodies I've ever heard to this day.
Yeah.
It's just so dope to listen to. I would never make a beat out of it, but it's just so fucking dope.
You're just like, yeah, I am in love. I'm in love with this fucking music.
Yeah, I'm in love with the fucking music in this game. It's like spiritually fucking inspiring me and shit. Yeah, a lot of things like I learned from Final Fantasy is like crazy how like I learned spiritual shit now, and I'm like, what? They was talking about this in Final Fantasy? Like, it's crazy.
I love that. Well, that's like, it's like your whole creative being like was inspired by Final Fantasy. But I love that your musical creations came from like a truly unique place because you, I think, started in that way. You don't have like that classic conditioning or that like training or whatever, you know, that a lot of people would have when they go into it to color like how you're doing it. You know, like it seems like you probably have more original and creative things because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Final Fantasy VII, just on the side note, have you ever heard of the consoles? They do like consoles. No. It's like SOULS consoles. And they do like instrumental soul versions of Final Fantasy VII music, and maybe other video games too. I just only listen to the Final Fantasy VII ones. But
well, I mean, I've downloaded a shitload of Final Fantasy music, like myself, probably without ever knowing what consoles is. You know,
you probably heard them, yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love Final Fantasy music.
So do you think that, like you're talking about it, like you got spiritual ideas from Final Fantasy VII, and like, do you think it like guided how you kind of view the world and almost your moral outlook of shit, like corporate control and greed and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, Shinhwa, yo, that's the ultimate. Shinhwa is America.
It is.
That is not fuck America, because it's even bigger than America, you know.
True.
Whatever they like to call themselves. That is them. That's fucking Shinhwa. Like, so when you think about it, yeah, hell yeah. Fucking games had me looking at the world different. I felt like I was fucking Cloud, Strife and shit. You're
living in the fucking like, you know, shitty like city where the rich people are like above you, literally looking down, and you're in like the filth, like looking up, like wishing you could get out.
Well, ultimately that's what it is, right? New York City, inner city shit. I'm in Brooklyn, in the projects. Everything is fucking just fucked up, you know? Like everything is fucked up. I left out of there, yo. And the shit that I be hearing about back home, I'm like, damn, yo. Good thing I'm not there, you know? People fucking dying and shit, people getting locked up. They're just crazy shit, yo. Just fucking crazy. Oh yeah, well, that's a whole other. $1,000 fines for not getting a measles vaccination in New York.
No, that's what's happening right now, dude. And it's only in the city limits, like that.
They're saying in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, there's an outbreak that's happening.
I guarantee you, it came from the fucking vaccine itself.
Listen, man, this shit is crazy. This shit is crazy.
Tell me about it. I want to know. Because you're there. You're nearby, right? And you know people who are dealing with it.
They're basically saying it's like Jews bringing this shit in. Like, you know, blaming the Jews and saying that, you know, they're sick and, you know, they got the measles and everybody needs to go and get these shots. And if you don't get them, you're going to be fined $1,000. And if you don't get it done within 48 hours, you might be subjected to going to jail. Like, it sounds like some real life fucking movie shit, you know, like some quarantine shit, you know, like that shit is bugged out. And that's happening right now. You know, I don't warn my brother. I don't warn my moms, you know what I mean? My pops like, yo, get the fuck out of New York. Yo.
Yeah, like that's the time to run away.
Out of there. Even before all of this shit. And now it's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, this shit is all over. You can look it up right now, yo. After all this shit, you can look it up and check that shit out. You're going to see it for yourself. $1,000 fines, yo, if you don't get vaccinated. And ultimately, you know what the fucking vaccination is. It's a poison.
Yeah.
You know? Shit is crazy.
It's like we know 100% fact that vaccines have side effects such as death, and like I don't know. Also, death is the worst one, but I feel like there's a lot that are almost as bad as death. Like if you're paralyzed for the rest of your life, I don't know. Some people might rather be dead, but like we know that happens because of vaccines, and they're going to force people to take them. And $1,000 fine, like that's fucked up, but also jail. So you're going to put someone in a cage because they won't inject a poison into.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I feel like the scariest thing to me about that measles shit and like finding people, knocking people up. It's scary that they're doing that, right? It's terrifying that they feel like they have the right to do that, and that. But what's scarier to me is that people aren't just openly revolting against it. Like that's what's scary to me.
The thing, is that people are fucking dumb, you know, and I hate to say it so like and sound like an asshole about it, but people are fucking stupid.
They are.
And that shit is a big ass problem. Like, yo, I could talk to, and I ain't trying to put nobody on blast, but I could talk to people down to my own family members and be like, yo, do you see what's happening? And they literally look at me or listen to me like, yeah, yo, and just kind of like let it fly off, you know? Yeah. And I'm trying to I'm trying to plant this shit into them, you know? Like, yo, y'all out there right now. I'm in Connecticut. Y'all still in New York. Like, they doing this shit right now. Y'all not paying attention? It's almost like people don't care. So, yeah, so it's like people are kind of dumb, you know? Like, either they're dumb or they just don't care or they're in full fucking fear. Yeah. Because, I mean, what other options, you know what I mean? Like, or like my wife said, or just fully controlled, you know? Like, you're so stuck in your fucking phone, you know, with all this shit that you have available to you. It's like you don't really care about shit. People just all day. I do it myself. Like, yo, I'll find myself on my phone scrolling and not even really looking at what the fuck I'm scrolling past.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing? You know? So it's like a waste of time. It's like, and they know. Like, I've watched videos. Like, me and my wife would sit here and watch shit with dudes who are creators of Facebook. They're responsible for this shit even existing. And they're like, yo, I don't even use this shit, man. This shit is like, it's fucked up what's happening. And now they
give it to their kids.
They got all the augmented reality shit happening now, you know? Man, Facebook is on another level. And I just feel like that shit is leading into a whole like Black Mirror, the Social Squad episode.
Yes.
Yo,
absolutely.
That shit in China right now, that shit is happening. So that's fucked up.
Yes.
You know?
When you can control someone's life based on their social media score, like what they post, we already know that like we're targeted once we start talking about things. Like if you go on right now and you start posting about vaccines in New York City and how people should question it or resist it or whatever, then you're automatically, you've got a fucking little red flag by you. So that kind of shit would then affect your whole life. You'd be like, oh, you can't buy this plane ticket. Oh, you can't like get calls from these people anymore.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Because some dude in China fucking said some shit about his coworker and got banned that same way. Couldn't jump on no flights, couldn't do all kind of shit. And like, yo, when you look at the rules that are applied to that shit, like even that the nigga said, if you buy too many motherfucking video games, that drops your social score. What? Like, are you kidding me? If I buy too many video games, what kind of shit is that?
That's like just pure training. Like you're a dog and you're being trained. Like, nope, you can only have this many. You gotta go past that.
I'm being rationed off with games. I'm what with games? That is crazy, yo. Yeah. Like you can't do that shit. You can't do that shit. You know what I mean? Like that's just crazy. And it's not to say that they can't do that shit. I'm speaking how I feel, but technically it's happening. So yes, they can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a thing that fucks with my head sometimes is I'm like, really, what kind of person are you that you want to do that? Like you want to control people's lives to the point where you like know how many video games they have? What's wrong with you? You're lacking like so much. I can't even understand it.
I don't even want to meet those kind of people.
Yeah.
Imagine the attitude of that person. I'm not speaking like bougie hood attitude type shit. I'm speaking like imagine the character of that person, right? Like the demeanor, the energy that comes off of that person when like that just doesn't give a fuck about humanity, period.
Yes.
Right? It has this like agenda and like this fucking goal to get to, and that's all he gives a fuck about. He or she, right? No matter who, he or she.
Well, I like that you said it. You said it has an agenda, because really that type of fucking mindset I don't think is human. Like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, because I mean, not to get into like all reptilian and all that shit. Like, look, at the end of the day, even if you didn't want to talk all that extra shit like that, there's a spiritual force. No matter what, there's a spiritual world out there. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. It exists, you know? Like, you can't deny that shit. So when you think about people, you know what I mean? And then you think about what aside from people, what might be on the other side in a spiritual sense, I ain't calling that people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that ain't me, you know? It's like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie oh man, what the fuck is Max Payne?
No.
With what's this dude's name? Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg did the movie Max Payne, right? That's a good movie to watch.
I'm gonna write it down so I watch it.
Not to blow the whole movie up, right?
Ruin it.
A liquid in the movie. It's like if I'm not mistaken, it's like this like kind of highlight blue liquid. It's like in a little small bio capsule, right? Type shit. And when they drink it, it allows them to see the spiritual realm. Oh. So when they see the spiritual realm, it's like not only do you see them, but it fucks them up in a way where they can actually attack them now. You know? Yeah. All the demons on the other side can now fuck with your physical. So it was so deep when you watch the movie, because in my mind, I'm like, yo, yeah, they trying to tell us that they drinking this liquid to see the spiritual world. But the fact that they're even telling us that there's a fucking spiritual world that exists like that, when you look at what happens, like when they pop that shit, it's like mad demons flying over them, just going everywhere, just fucking violently flying past you, just fucking crazy, but you don't see it. And it's happening.
You have that liquid. Yeah, but that's interesting too, that they can attack you once you take it. Because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like those people like basically sell their soul, whether they actually like meet a fucking demon or Satan or whatever and like sign a contract or whatever. Like, I don't know if that's actual, but even if you just are talking about it like metaphorically, like you give up a part of yourself or part of your humanity to like access that level of society where you're at like the top and you can look down on people and like laugh at how little they are or whatever. Those people do take something into themselves. It's not them then. And I think it does open them up to that, whatever that evil is in the world, you know, and it can probably attach to them. Yeah. I'm sure it does attach to them. And then, I don't know, I feel like there's not a lot of hope for you if you go there.
I mean, look, look, there's times we're in the house over here and my wife will do this, right? She'll be like, oh, there's something on my shoulder. I feel it. And she's feeling the energy, a heavy energy. That shit exists around you. Like, it exists. Like, you feel things. Y'all never forget one time we was in the old crib that we lived in, and we had it was like a red, like, you know, sometimes your phone would just, like, if you got the camera open, your phone would just, like, take a random shot or some shit and you didn't plan on taking it.
Yeah.
All right, so the way that the camera had took the picture, on the ceiling of the room, it was like this big black mass. The fucking shit looked like, when you looked at it, you knew it wasn't no shadow or nothing. Yeah. And we know our bedroom and we know what's projecting shadows to the ceiling.
Yeah.
There's no light on the floor to project a shadow to the ceiling when we have a light on the ceiling, which would only project a shadow down. Yeah. Right? So I'll never forget that. You know, like shit like that, you know, you look at that and you're like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like some ectoplasm shit, like some crazy black shit or something, you know. Right. I've had dreams myself where it's like, you know, that where you feel fucking paralyzed, you know, and that sleep paralysis shit, you know. And I've had those where, like, I've heard other people talk about their sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And then I got mine. You know what I mean?
Oh, like infected you. by hearing
Like,
about
yo,
it.
that shit. It's like a takeover, right? So like, this is since like I was a kid, I would get the sleep paralysis, and I would be like, oh, trying to wake up, right?
Yeah.
So in that whole moment of that happening, I actually see shit.
Yeah.
So like, mad times, yo, I done seen shit where like I remember, I seen like this little girl burnt to a fucking crisp, like pink burn, like, you know what I mean? And just walking around the bed. And I'm in that sleep paralysis, you know? Another time where, you know, I seen a black mass jump from the end of my bed into my stomach and make me jump out of the bed, right?
Wow. Were you physically jump out of bed, or you're like
physically jump out the fucking bed?
Okay.
Like, yo, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Like something hit me in my stomach. Like somebody hit me in my shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like that. So wake up out the shit, bugging out. Like, yo, what the fuck, you know? Now.
And your eyes aren't actually open. You're seeing that like through your mind's eye, right?
My eyes are closed. I'm in sleep paralysis.
But you can see it, and it's real. Like you see your actual room.
But I'm literally looking at everything around me. Everything that's there is, I'm seeing that shit, you know? Right. It's so fucking weird when it happens, but yeah, you know, and then it ended up being where I stopped getting them like that. And I feel like, it's not to sound so, I know people, you know what I mean, would be like, yo, you know, because of religion and all of that. But my grandmother passed away last year, right?
Right. I'm sorry.
And yeah, when she wait, was it last year? It was the year before. The year before. And when she passed away, my mom's had some rosary beads from her. And she gave them to me, and she was like, yo, hold these down. This is from grandma, you know? So I was like, all right, bet. So I still got them in my bedroom. But the first night that I put them up on my wall, I came home from New York, down back to Connecticut. I'm home with my wife now. You know, it's me, my wife, and I got 2 stepkids. I got a stepson and a stepdaughter. So we're all in the house. Everybody's good. We go to sleep. I get that sleep paralysis shit. So now I had the rosary beads up against the bedroom door, like right next to the bedroom door. They were pinned up against the wall. Now, usually when I get the sleep paralysis and I see demons, whatever the fuck you want to call them, you know, right. Anything that I see would normally try to come at me, and I'm trying to get away from that shit, right?
Right.
In this case, they couldn't pass where the rosary beads was at.
Yes.
It was so fucking deep that when I woke up, you know, and I told my wife, I was like, yo, it had to be. Like
yeah.
It just had to be, you know?
Absolutely.
How the fuck, you know?
I'm the same as you. Like, I don't really I also had sleep paralysis, and I don't really love to tell people how I made it stop finally, because I feel like people will then think that I'm promoting religion, and I never would promote religion. But I had the same experience where I could see shit, and like I had you can call it a demon, whatever it was evil, come at me. And what I did was I asked, I feel like it's really cheesy, but I asked Jesus Christ for help. And I have like a religious background as a kid, but it wasn't something that I believed at the time even. But I was like terrified, and I did it, and that fucking thing disappeared, and I never had sleep paralysis again. So like, whatever you want to call that, you know, I'm like, well, it works, right? So like, I don't really care what people want to think about religion or whatever. Like, if that is happening to you, like, you can use that as well, right? At the very least, you can say that it's effective.
A lot of power into that.
Right.
You put a lot of power into that, because, yo, I still go, it's not as often, but I'll still go to it, you know, where my wife would be like, babe, you all right? And yeah, I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
Another thing about the shit is,
she can probably tell, right?
Huh?
She can probably tell, right, when it's happening to you.
Well, this is, look, check this shit out. First of all, can I bring my wife into this?
Yeah, for sure. Come in.
Baby, come in. Come in. Listen, my wife, when I'm going through these things, my wife is the one who sees the black plasma over me.
Wow.
I talk about it in my music, you know?
He's not asleep.
No.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
What's your name?
Betty.
Betty? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, you know, when I'm going through these moments, my wife is seeing that over me. All this, you know, shit that I can't see, because obviously I'm in that, you know, that state of paralysis, you know. I don't know what's happening other than in my head, right? Like whatever my mind is showing me, because my eyes are closed, you know. That's how you know you're a fucking energy, right? Because how the fuck can I see outside of my body exactly what's happening in that moment? You ever experienced this? Let me ask you something. You ever react to a sound before you hear it?
Yes.
Isn't that so fucking weird?
Yes. I agree with you. Those experiences are exactly what prove that you are not your body. Like, you have a body.
Exactly. That shit is some shit that, like, I don't know, maybe it's just a fucking unexplainable.
No,
you know?
It's not that it's unexplainable. The way I see it is depending on your level of consciousness. You feel me? Right. Because it's like you are that whole third eye thing. You know, I believe we're all born with that regardless. So it depends on, it seems to me in my own experience and research that most of us that go through traumas, especially at an early age, are the ones that tend to have that awakening, whatever you want to call it, that ability. I think that others don't have it, but it tends to develop a little different. You know what I mean?
It does seem to be that way.
Yes. So with that being said, he just explained his story. You know, everybody has a story. You know what I mean? Right. It's like in correlation to the metaphysics and you know, the experiences. I feel that with him is also been with depending on your state, because you know, when you're drinking, my research tells me, you know, we all spirits. You know, they tend to they cause for a reason. You know what I mean? Yeah. So under the influence, it's not just weed. I don't want to pick on, I mean, it's not just liquor. I don't want to pick on liquor.
It's anything.
It's anything. Right.
Right.
So I feel with him and even with me, you know what I'm saying? I can see these things because, again, we share that correlation with the trauma. So, and then we're in the same bed. So you're sharing space with that person. You know what I mean? So and she could feel that shit you know how many times, yo, it's like how they say, like, your muse keys, you know, your yin and your yang, right? You know, your positive, your negative, however you want it, you know. You know how many times this woman go to say something and then I already say it in my head, right? I go to say something, she go to say, you know what I'm saying, say it. It's already,
like you're thinking it and she says it and you're like, what?
Yeah, so that level of connection, you know, when it comes to something happening to me in a spiritual way, right? If she's right there next to me, she's gonna probably see that shit directly the way I'm seeing it,
right?
Because
she's so tethered to me. It's like, you know,
it's a very strong tether. And then with me, I have a very strong metaphysical background. My grandmas before, they were very much into herbs and healing of the old ways, and you know, nobody took vaccines, and she had 13 children, and you know, very mother goddess type of energy. So for me,
that's a fact.
I
like real life.
I my whole life. So for me, it's there's a strong tether, like you just said. So I actually had a haunting where I had to deal with Lorraine Warren, and I mean, I called the lady in the middle of the night. She took my call. I mean, she gave me a whole, you know, you're haunted, which I already knew. Yeah, but it was just my point. I had the Paranormal Society there, you know, taking video and shit. I mean, it was like a TV thing. But at the end of the day, it was just, I already knew. You know, we went through a haunting where there was 5 of us that got haunted simultaneously throughout the home. Okay, my sister, my cousins, people who weren't even living in the home. So again, you know, there's a tether there. So and the times that we're living in, back to bring it you know, this matrix that we're in, I mean, my mind is gonna go a little, you know, I look at portals that are being opened, and there's a lot of people playing shit. You got CERN playing God, you know what I'm saying? So when you put all these things on different levels, it's not a pretty picture. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, and I think it's a spiritual battle at the base of it, you know, like I think it manifests physically, and like we have CERN, we have these physical manifestations of it, but I think like at the core it is a spiritual thing.
I mean, I don't believe, I was a very strong Catholic. I grew up, you know, communion, you know, the whole, so I was 14 years old every Sunday. So I know. I also was a Jehovah's Witness for a long time. I went into Mormon. Even Scientology, I was thinking about, but you need money for Scientology. So that's the story.
Poor people are out.
Right.
You don't want no part of that.
I don't, but at the end of the day, I can't judge anyone for any belief. But I mean, the fact is that there's a correlation with everything, and everything has some truth in it. So you can't really disregard. One is not about the chicken or the egg, you know, what came from whatever. But we are up against some shit, regardless of what we believe. So it's like the X-Men, you know, all these Marvel things. That's all truth. You know what I mean? That's true. In my opinion, it's not about you know, is it real? At what level? You know, I'm not saying that I'm gonna get up and walk the wall, but you know what I mean?
Not yet.
I mean, not yet. Right.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, you know.
I hope to.
Yeah.
One day.
So how did you guys meet?
Honestly, it was kind of like mutual friendships. So I'm cool with a dude named Sincere Immaculate from Brooklyn, also a rapper. And me having a friendship with him, he had a girlfriend at the time that was friends with her sister, my wife's sister. And it just happened to be, you know, how Facebook fucking works, right? They, hey, this is somebody you might know. And me at the time, I was a fucking sponge for women, you know what I mean? So I didn't give a fuck. I was like, yeah, so, you know, and I seen her and I hit her up, you know, we started talking, you know, it's real shit. You know, this is crazy because you know what brought, like, our soundtrack is, I don't know if you're familiar with these albums. Pusha T, Rat the Kane, and The Weeknd, House of Balloons. Listen,
I've at least heard of that one.
Listen.
So some real street shit, some real hood shit,
it's dark. It's dark as fuck. It's dark as fuck. It's dark as fuck.
The yin and the yang, though.
Yeah, it's dark as fuck. Yo, honestly, look, Pusha T, Rat the Kane is just all about that coke, you know? And man, we was playing around, you know? And then House of Balloons, that was that sex music. So, yeah, we had the hardcore fucking shit with the fucking R&B shit. That was like, oh.
But look at the tether there, because Pusha T wasn't just about cocaine. It was the wrath of Cain. And he was talking a lot about his relationship to God and how, you know, his repentance.
I know.
You know, the streets and the darkness of the reality of the industry and shit. You know what I'm saying?
My name.
So there was a strong correlation, because what actually drew me to him, aside from music, was, you know, I can have a conversation with him about fucking esoteric bullshit that nobody really gives a fuck about. You know,
he actually got shit, so you can actually connect.
And I mean on the level, because nobody wants to talk about
this
certain levels, you know, the dark esoterics that goes on in the fucking in the White House, and the, you know, the whole political esoteric shit, the dark shit, the shit that people are doing, that, you know, the average Puerto Rican in the hood doesn't want to talk about the fucking,
yeah, because that's what it is.
The shit that goes on underneath the Vatican, and you know that dark shit.
I speak to so many people, and I try to talk to them about things, and people just don't want to listen, you know. But
they're asleep. I don't even blame them. It's the fucking gadgets.
They don't even want to listen.
The frequencies that we're on. First of all, let's get to that.
Because, because it's becoming like a poser thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have motherfuckers out here that'll come out and tell you online, like, yo, like they'll talk to you like this, right? In a sense where like niggas want to be like, yo, God, yo, shit about Egypt and shit about spirituality and shit about, you know, dieting the right way and shit about just being in tune with yourself, and which is all good. But none of these people do what they say, right? So it's like you got a lot of posy shit out there, you know what I mean? So and those same niggas is the same niggas that you talk to and you try to build with, and they don't even want to hear it, but just want to look good online.
But
you know what I mean?
Those are considered to me, they're like street charlatans. But at the end of the day, those same street charlatans are fucking tapped in through the fucking gadgets, through the PS4s, the damn, the everything around them. Now we're going into 5G. That's a different fucking story. These nanobots, all this shit, you know what I'm saying? There's so much that I can't, it's not that I'm not.
Which they say is in the air already.
It's already here. So I'm not saying for them not to take accountability, because right now, everybody should know something. Okay, we're past that point, man. So
that's the thing. Yeah, like if you, what is that whole quote? Like in the age of information, like ignorance is a choice. Basically, like you can figure out anything you want right now, but if you're not even trying, you know, or if you're just pretending, if you're like,
oh shit, it's really all at your fingertips. Like really everything. I tell people all the time, like even down, like people be like, yo, how do you do this making music? And I'm like, bro, everything that I've ever learned, even before the fucking internet ever existed, I just, you know what I'm saying, figured out my way to, you know what I mean, you know, learn it, you know. But now we're having the internet. If I have any question in my head, bro, I'm going straight to YouTube and Google. Why the fuck would I? It's fucking there. It's there. Other people probably are doing the same shit. There's threads with all these shits. Like, why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? People just don't want to learn. They just don't want to know shit, you know? Same thing like how they just don't want to listen.
But all that has to do as well is with conditioning and look at what they're doing with the kids in school now. They're starting the freaking cell phones and fucking Facebooks and shit, like here in Hartford. They can't. The laptops too. The laptops, and cell phones as well. You feel me? Like they're going into where they can have one gadget to learn on. It went from a tablet to now it's just going to be take this home and every assignment you have is on this one gadget that's you know that can fit in your hand. They're already doing it. You know. Yeah. So and then we also have Betsy DeVos, which is the fucking the education chick that Trump put in. This bitch wants to do Coliseum fucking learning on fucking jumbotrons and shit.
Oh what is God. That?
I mean,
that's horrifying.
This goes back to fucking it's Hitler shit. You know what I mean? If you think about it.
There's just like mass indoctrination. Like we already have mass indoctrination, but that's even more horrific. Just pile like 1 million people into a room and make them watch a TV.
Yeah, exactly. So
I just saw this shit today that somebody put up where this is like a little kid's classroom, right? Because you don't put the alphabet in older kids class. So like little kids, the alphabet's on the wall and every letter is a logo. It's like A is for Apple and B is for, I don't know, whatever. C is for Coke. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's the alphabet and you're fucking making it a corporate logo machine. Like, oh my God.
Well, with emojis, with emojis, that's the thing. Look, we was watching the video the other day, and Mark Zuckerberg himself. This is actually an old video. It's probably like 2 years old, some shit, right? And he was talking about the augmented reality.
Yeah.
And the shit that he was, you know what I mean, like he's basically, you know, in my mind, I'm not gonna say, you know, this is exactly. I'm just speaking what I think, right?
Yeah.
If you ever seen the movie Gamer.
Yeah. With the like where they take control of a person's body.
Yes.
Basically, yeah. Okay.
Now you see outside of that war thing because they got niggas that's, you know, controlled in war, trying to get out, you know, prison and shit. If they get out, you know what I mean? If, you know, they do all this shit, they'll get out of prison if they're the winner and some crazy shit. Right. But outside of all of that, all the fucking sex and the bugged out, weird, colorful, you know, lollipop shit that's happening, yo, that shit is fucking spooky to me because everything is so fucking mindless.
Yes.
It's so colorful in your face. It's like a little kid. How you could little kids are fucking gravitated to cartoons because of the colors and all of the dumb shit that they see.
Right.
You know?
And the sounds and like
they don't fuck all the sounds and all the little shit is key shit, you know, that hits them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like these niggas is doing the same shit, you know, like all even with online on fucking Facebook and all that shit, the fucking blues and you know the whites on your face, like that shit is all fucking with your head, like.
Right.
But if you think about it, look at the light that they use on these apps. Schools and school settings, it's the same white light. Jail, it's the same white light. You see what I'm saying? That shit does is absorb the fucking calcium from when you're sitting up.
Real shit. Yo, niggas was, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Niggas was like fucking 7 years old, 8 years old, living in a crib. We had a hippie that lived upstairs from us. I remember their names was Rooster and Jay. Rooster was the female, Jay was the dude, obviously.
Yeah.
So Rooster and Jay lived upstairs from us. Jay was growing a whole motherfucking crazy amount of weed in his house. Like it was just mad weed. Every room was considered a different room. Like he had the mother room, the cutting room, the grow room. Like he just had his shit mapped out. I remember that nigga used to say shit, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I lost my fucking train of thought.
He was on the lights? Something about light?
The lights.
No, the lights. I remember that nigga used to say that, The
Rooster threw you off.
No, I know Rooster, I know. I'm not talking about Rooster. I was thinking about the hair on the arms. I swear to God.
You got distracted by the underarm hair.
The hair on the arm. But no, I remember that Jay used to say that when he was a kid and he used to go to school, he used to wear hoodies and sunglasses. And he used to say that the teachers will always fuck with him and be like, yo, you can't come to class with your hoodie on and your sunglasses on. And he used to tell them as a kid, yo, the fucking shit is sucking the calcium out of my bones.
Yeah.
Y'all got me sitting in this class and these fluorescent lights, these bullshit ass lights is killing me. Yeah. They're giving me cancer. I'm protecting myself with my black hoodie and my dark shades.
He was correct.
Yeah.
And
wow. He was on
listen,
it.
this is the early fucking 90s, yo.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was like 7, 8 years old, you know? And this dude was talking that shit.
And look how much, and people still don't even know that that's true. Like I turn the lights off in my classroom every day and I won't turn them on because I'm like, they're evil. And people are like, why do you keep your lights off? I'm like, oh, it's just relaxing because I'm not going to be like, you know, they're killing us. Sometimes I say they'll cause headaches, but it's like I can't go too far, I guess.
Yeah, but you can hear light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes light bothers me. You know what I mean? Like I'll be here. Like I noticed the difference between if the lights is on and the lights is off when making music. You can literally listen to the light when you turn it on.
It sound different too. You ever listen to an album?
It literally makes the music sound different and everything. Yeah. If you was to listen to a track while all the lights are on and then turn them completely off and play that same track, it sounds different.
Play up Pink Floyd and forget it. It's an experience.
Yeah, Pink Floyd. War Against the Machines. What is it?
No, she can play anything.
To the machine.
Right.
Welcome to the machine.
Welcome to the machine. Right.
Oh. Yeah.
Shit.
Now I don't know if I can handle it. It's like overload. But it's interesting because that sensory shit, like the sounds and the light and the visuals, and what you're saying is like kids are attracted to it, but really we all are, right? And our senses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And in a lot of spiritual traditions, like our senses are like the trap. You know, like we get addicted to.
If we wasn't attracted to it, they wouldn't make methods to attract us now.
Right.
And they wouldn't put it in film.
I mean? Like,
they wouldn't put it in film.
It's in everything.
Don't go into the night, Caroline. You know what I mean?
Down to like little subtle shit. You know, you'll see like a fucking megasecond of something that just sticks to you. A megasecond or something that was like purposely meant for your subconscious to just be like, yo, did you see that?
Yes.
That was good. Like,
that's calculated. It's
fucking super but that's where you know motherfuckers gotta be on a spiritual vibe. How the fuck you do it? I mean, but you know what?
Well, listen, they're changing the
I don't know what that spiritual vibe is.
What
but
they're doing now, the people like us, you know, we're vibing on where we're supposed to be, I believe.
Right.
We're going totally off her interview.
But no, whatever. I love it.
This is great content.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying who makes the narrative controls it, right?
Right.
So right now they're changing the narrative in regards to, I'm not talking spirituality per se, but religion, which will lead into spirituality or whatever it's going to lead into, because they're changing.
Nah, but it won't be that. That's why American Gods is so dope.
Great show, yes.
Because American Gods is basically telling that all the old gods are being deleted. Mm-hmm. They're being forgotten. They're vanishing. They're no longer existing because people don't give a fuck about it no more. But you gotta
tell her what the Vatican said about Christ, though. When the Vatican is in Philadelphia amongst a million people and says, Jesus' sacrifice may not have been what it was.
That his
sacrifice might have been in vain.
Not in, that it was like a failure.
It was a failure, yes. And then he explained why.
In other words, he's trying to say, like, if Jesus' sacrifice would have been a successful sacrifice for us to be washed of our sins and be a clean race, brand new, you know, all of that.
He failed, right.
To have forgiveness and all of that he failed because we're still all fucked up.
So therefore, we're going to change, but wait, but the segue, that's the segue to lead into say, we're going to add homosexuality to the book. We're going to add aliens to the book because we really don't know. So you understand who controls the narrative has the fucking power. Right. So what's going to happen to the millions of people like myself who know the Catholic doctrine because I fucking come from it?
Yeah,
I never believed it as a kid, and I now I believe it less.
But this is the thing, you know what? Look, because not to
digress, but right.
This is something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people battle with, right?
Yeah.
It's not about religion to me. It is about spirituality. I remember my homeboy told me, he said, yo, look, man, religion is made by man, spirituality is made by God, right?
Amen.
And now here's the funny thing now, with me even using the terms that I use. I don't even want to say Jesus no more.
Right.
I don't want to say God no more. I don't want to say Lord no more. Because I'm learning that these aren't even proper names.
No.
I'm learning that it's not about that Jesus ain't real. It's not about that God ain't real. We're not using the proper terms. We're not using, you know what I mean?
Because we can't control the narrative.
But this is because even outside of that, I'm still one of the guys that will be there. Like, you know what? Jesus is my Lord and Savior.
Right.
But then to say that, how is Jesus my Lord and Savior when I know that saying God and Lord is technically paganistic?
Right.
Right. and then I come out and I put that into perspective and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? There has to be something real behind all of this. So I've came to the conclusion even before I started, you know, feeling a way about calling whatever my creator is God, right? Calling him Jesus or calling him Lord, or I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I've come to the conclusion that every single religion that exists, every single one is, and I'm not talking about all of that bullshit shit that they fucking making up now. All of this fucking corny shit. And I don't care how people take this shit. People can feel how they want to feel. All that fucking gay agenda shit with religions and, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yo, look, there's, you know what I'm saying? There's, you know, all kind of shit that's like to me, it's all the same thing, basically. It's all the same thing. Like, you can look at each book that you can ever think of in religion that's ancient as a page in a book. So it's a book that's a page within a book.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it to me. It's all one. It's all one. This all comes together. Like this has to come together.
Yeah.
How can we all, first of all, if we really even look at yo, it says that, and like I said, I hate to use the terms because I don't know what's the proper term, but it's the only one I know, so I'm gonna say God.
Right.
It says God in the times when they was making the Tower of Babylon, right? They was trying to get to heaven. He went and divided all of them through language.
Yeah.
Right? Yo, how do I know what's the proper term for anything?
Right.
That
And how do you know?
God did that to people. Right. You know what I mean? Like God himself or itself, herself, whatever, did that to people and divided them through terminology, through words, language. Right. You know what I mean? That's a fucking big barrier. Yeah. If I don't know your language, I cannot understand what the fuck you mean. And when you put that into fucking, you know what I mean, perspective, and then you put the victor writes the story and all of that shit, it's like, what the fuck are we really, what is it?
And when
you know
what I
mean?
And when you're getting them to do what you just, the example you just gave, on top of having a very small group of very powerful men controlling the narrative based on language. So then therefore they're the ones who fucking say, this is going in, this is going in. It became, in my opinion, because at one point I knew the Bible very well, it was very sexist. It was very, if you want to read murder, you want a good novel, you know, anything you want, treachery, deceit, murder, adults, fucking name it, it's in the Bible. It's the best fuck ever. You know what I'm saying?
Brutal,
You know, so because of that, again, you got to see who controls the fucking narrative. So if the Vatican today is saying, man, listen, we might have been wrong, we're going to add some shit, you know, and you know, every now and then we're finding lost fucking scrolls, and you know, you can
I don't believe in the whole fixing anything. All of that. All right, let's just say you find a lost document. Fuck it, you found a lost document.
The Dead Sea Scrolls, right?
Then fuck, you know what I mean? You feel me? Fuck it, you found some lost shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But to come out and say, yo, like all of that fucking, that Vatican bullshit, that shit is all bullshit to me. I could believe in Christ all I want in the way that I want because I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know because I know there's so fucking many different, you know what I mean, perversions. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. So I believe in them and how I want to believe in them. But with that being said, within the Vatican, yo, these niggas is fucking wild with it. Like, how the fuck is, you know what I'm saying? Yo, first of all, even in the Bible, it tells you not to believe in saints, right? It tells you not to believe in saints or any idols or anything like that. Isn't Catholicism, the Vatican, based on nothing but that?
Ultimately, yes. It's like, what the fuck?
Safe, right?
Just such hypocrisy.
The rosary you got from your grandmother, you're supposed to say a prayer on every
on every
one. The Hail Mary, then you go into the Our Father. Hail Mary all the way down.
Which I didn't grow up with. I didn't grow up with that. I didn't grow up with that. I grew up in a Christian church. And that's not to say that Christianity is any better, because like I said, I believe in it my own way.
Right.
Because I don't even know if Christianity is right.
That's the big is that you're right to feel. More people should feel how you feel. But the reality is, I hate to.
But listen,
the narrative is why we have these sheep.
But then it falls against the blade, because when you come out and you think how I think, then you fall against the line of
I know
do not question.
Right. But that's what I was taught too.
So
I was taught don't question, but when I started questioning, I was always a rebel anyway. But now that I started questioning in my 30s and shit, so wait a minute, I grew up listening to fucking Tears for Fears in the fucking hood, okay?
Yeah.
That's AC/DC, all that shit. So for me, Everybody Wants to Rule the World was always my favorite fucking song as a teen, and it kind of I resonated with it. So I'm like, damn, this kind of makes sense, you know? So I dissected it, and that got me to Pink Floyd, got me to Led Zeppelin, got me, you know, it took me down the rabbit hole, basically.
Those are my guys.
So now I can say today, they fucking controlled the narrative for a person who actually lived it, okay?
Yeah.
So again, if they're changing the narrative today, on top of all the other bullshit we just mentioned fucking 20 minutes ago, where the fuck are we going? I'm not mad at the people, because everything is written. You know what I'm saying? Everything is destined opinion. So we're kind of living it out as it was intended.
Right.
You know?
Which is, I totally feel you. I have the same problem where I'm like, I don't want to blame people too much because this trap was created intentionally to trap them and it's not their fault that they're trapped. But and then there's also the side though where I'm like, well, you still have to take responsibility for yourself and question things and seek answers and wonder and like look for truth, you know? And if you're not doing that, then like I also can't, you know, take blame away from you, because what are you doing to yourself? Like, you still have free will, you know, and you still have a choice.
You just said, you both guys just said, I don't necessarily, for a person who believed in Christ and was taught, and it was the, you know, certain religions that Christ was my husband, my spiritual husband. I don't need a husband in the flesh,
but that's
the spirit. And I bought and believed it because all you need is a faith, a mustard seed, a mustard seed, but that's what you need. Faith, a small mustard seed. So I had it, you know what I mean? Because the reality and the fear, because everything was fear-based. So when I realized what the fuck was going on, I said, I'm scared.
Nah,
you know, so I have to hold on to something.
It's not even just fear-based, because nobody, listen to what I'm telling you. There's nobody that should go and say that they have that is a sexual term. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
No,
if I say that Christ is, you know what I mean, my husband, what is that sound like?
But listen, but what they were saying when I questioned the sexuality of it, we don't mean it in a sexual term. We mean
it is. Marriage is a sexual.
But that was their explanation. And when you're indoctrinated and under fucking control, you're gonna believe what they say. Man. For
sure.
So I question it.
And that's I'm just saying, like, for anybody that was to go and agree to that, what the fuck kind of science is that?
And many do.
Yeah.
Sister wives and shit. Come on. Now go to fucking Utah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's all like really the worst part of the cage from every angle is that fear, right? I mean, if it's in religion, the fear that you're going to go to hell, and if it's in like the political sphere, the fear that you're going to go to jail or whatever, in the social sphere, the fear that you're going to be not loved by your group or whatever. So there's always this fear that's like forcing you to like follow along.
I never tried up, and I feel it. I could go sometimes and say something online and know that I'm pertaining to something or referring to something that might be considered Christian or Catholic, whatever. Right. Even beyond that, because I grew up with 5%ers. I like to speak how I speak. Sometimes I talk to I got a boy, my boy Ron Dellison, and my boy Mook the Truth. When we talk, yo, what up, Lord? Yo, what up, God? God, yo, peace, fam. Yo, what's up? Yeah, it's like that's what we grew up on.
Right.
It's not, this is what I learned growing up, because listening to Wu-Tang as a kid, man, how could you ever understand that shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's so, I'm still learning.
Right.
I'm still learning. I hope this video reaches somebody from the Whoop so they could really know. Like, yo, I'm still learning off of y'all raps, bro. Like, I listen to y'all 20 fucking years later, and I'm like,
that's what he meant.
That's what he was talking about. Oh, shit, bro. What?
Same could be said for Prodigy. I mean, not to just,
Prodigy too. You know, listen, man, come on, no.
I know, not to
but I cried when Prodigy died, man. That's the only motherfucker I ever cried for in the hip hop game, man. Yeah. I cried when that nigga died because, bro, y'all made me.
Yeah.
Like, what? Mobb Deep made me. Fuck. What? Prodigy fucking made me.
Okay.
Havoc made me.
Here's a question for you then, because I feel like maybe you disagree, but I feel like now it's harder for especially kids to find any hip hop that has any fucking substance or meaning to it outside of just like materialism and bullshit. So, like, do you think that kids now are fucked? Because you had that has to be part, like you said, it made you, like, that's part of a huge part of you becoming who you are and us being able to have this conversation. So, like, what do they have?
I think this. I have two different sides of this, right? If I'm basing it off of music, I don't know if that's what you was trying to lean towards. If you're basing it off of music, right?
Right.
Then yeah, kids are fucked.
Yeah.
Kids are fucked. But I'll tell you this much. These new niggas is smart.
Yeah.
They smart. And they are talented. they're dope as fuck. It's just you have the generation of not generation, I'm sorry. You have the demographic of kids that just want to go and do this ignorant, I get high, I get drunk shit, I shoot niggas, gang, nigga, what's up?
Yeah.
That's what they care about, right? Then you got these same niggas that are, I get high, I get drunk, gang, shoot them up, what's up? But they're not ignorant, you know? They're fucking smart. And they know how to project themselves in a way where it's appealing. It doesn't seem like they're glorifying bullshit. They're telling their story. They're trying to get the fuck out. They're telling niggas, this is what I fucking, nigga, this is what I went through. This is what I, not what I went, this is what I go through. Every fucking day, nigga, this is what I do. It's different. You know what I mean? You got some motherfuckers out here that are just doing it for the straight bullshit. And the niggas that do that shit are the niggas that are inspiring the no hope generation. Then you got these motherfuckers out here like the new generation, like a Kendrick Lamar or somebody like that. This is why I hate hip hop sometimes. Because hip hop fans will go and do something like this. Yo, I love DJ Premier. And then come out and say, fuck that new shit. And then go and include niggas like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Ab-Soul, Logic, you know, dudes that are fucking nasty. Like these dudes are fucking incredible, you know? How the fuck can you come out and say that these dudes is trash? You know what I mean? Or say anything even close to it just because they're the new era.
Yeah.
Old hip hop fans always want to go and use that shit. Always want to lean on that fucking crutch of, oh, I'm boom bap. Nigga, fuck you. Nigga, there's niggas out here that will destroy you. And everything that you do as a rapper, a producer, engineer, they're fucking talented. They're young and they're gifted. And these fucking niggas get overlooked because they're new.
Yeah.
And then it's only because you got motherfuckers out here that are straight trash. And then those niggas are the niggas that get the love from the executives.
Yeah.
The motherfucking niggas with money that want to only promote bullshit and dumb people down and just fuck everything up, right?
Yeah.
And those are the niggas that end up catching light, and people gravitate to that shit only because it's force fed on them. They're brainwashed into thinking that it's fire because they heard it 100 fucking times back to back on the radio, and they think it's fucking dope. And now that's the new standard. So when anybody like Kendrick or somebody comes on, even that's weird to the new game. And they're the new niggas.
Right?
Yeah.
How the fuck does that happen?
Well,
that's crazy, yo.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you guys remember Disney shows back in the day. Nickelodeon, I'm sorry, there was a show called Proud Family. It was about a little urban black family, and the little girl used to have fantasies when she was a singer on stage and shit. And the music, like the beats and the tones that they were using were so fucking generic and so fucked up that I used to fucking hate it. I walk by and be like, oh, fuck, this is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Same way, in the same sound that I heard then, I hear now with this music, right? They dumbed it so fucking much because it's the frequencies
like a lullaby.
that we're on.
It's like a bunch of little kid lullabies. When you get a Kendrick
up against a fucking Kodak Black, let's say, or some other, give me any auto-tune rapper. You see?
Yeah.
So it's not so much about the boom bap era was a good era. There was still heart and shit. We were still unified to a degree. We were still fucking saying shit. It was a different fucking feeling. Where we are now, it's a whole different frequency. So once again, I'm not mad at them because they're doing what the fuck they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Let's look at hip hop, what you just said earlier. Let's look at it 10 years from now. Dude, it's gonna be a whole fucking different sound.
Yo, look, this is real shit. I said earlier to my stepson, this is my stepson, right? He's 24 years old. No, 23, 24, right? He do music. He nice with it. And he don't do none of this bullshit that niggas do, right? But he a new nigga, right? So we talking upstairs. And I'm telling him, I just did a project called David Ruffin. You heard it. right?
Yeah, it's badass. Everyone should go listen to it right now. It's so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just did that project. Now with that project, right? This is 2019. Let's just fucking say it's 2020, just because we want to round it off to the nearest number, right? It is 2020. 50 fucking years later, you have a dude like me recreating soul music?
True.
That is from 50 years ago.
50 years.
That's a fucking half a century.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's all I'm trying to say. Timeless.
Yeah.
These things are timeless. When you fucking do music and you're embedded into it, you doing shit that's fucking felt like people feel that shit, you know? It's not just like, yo, I listen to it and I like it. No, people feel that shit. Right. Their fucking back catches chills, their arm hairs stand up, and they're like, yo, wow.
Yeah.
This is so dope. That kind of fucking vibe.
That's power too. Like I feel like that's the power of humanity, right? Is that we can put our emotions and ourself into this thing, and then other people can connect with that. So you're like doing a service to the world by creating that.
Absolutely. It's the frequency. I don't know if you've ever watched those videos where they put like sand or like salt on like a blank canvas, and they'll shoot frequencies at it.
Yeah. And
you see what happens to the frequencies, you know, I mean to the grains through the frequency. Those shits fucking catch shapes, like they move in synchronized shape. It's like it's fucking gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's crazy, yo. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, it's if you have a blank canvas, just like an artist, right? Whether you're painting or creating music, you give an artist a blank canvas, and it's really, you know, the tools that you're using, you're creating your own mosaic, so to speak. So that's really what, to me, the definition of artistry should be. It doesn't matter what it is you're creating.
Yeah, but how many people? But that's the thing. But how many people? That's the difference. You could throw me a mound of that.
Yeah.
Of just clay.
Yeah.
And with that little piece of what you threw me, I'll fucking mold that into something I believe is beautiful.
Right.
And then present it to everybody. And that's the thing. Like,
that's like people, you're threading the thread into gold.
People are looking, yo, I just put up a video and mad people were laughing at me, right? Because I'm one that I'm really outspoken. I don't care. I don't care to tell motherfuckers, like, I just don't care. You know what I mean? So online I did a video, right? And I was basically saying within my video, I'm tired of all you preset ass motherfuckers. Because there's so many people out there that don't create. They don't.
Right.
They just use preset tools. There's now people that are online, like first, like what I did, right? And this is not the shit on my own self. I'm not shitting on my own self because I did something different. I put out something for people to sample. You have people that's giving people straight up loops. Hey, just take this, loop it. Here's this drum loop, and here's this bass loop, and they all match together. And you could just put these 3 files together, and there you go. You got a beat. That is fucking.
Which is fine. It's fine if you're in kindergarten.
Yeah, but then you get people that are saying, like, hey, mustard, you know? It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
Look, there's dudes even down to like, oh my God, I love Swiss Beats. I love Swiss Beats. But look, it's been rumored that even him, as when he first came out, he was using preset tools.
Yeah.
You know? And I love Swiss Beats. And when I first listened to Swiss Beats, I did not love Swiss Beats. I thought that he was trash. And then as time went by and he got better and better and better, I started really feeling like, yo, Swiss Beats is a fucking genius. He's dope.
You could feel it then. You weren't feeling it before, like literally.
Yeah. Because real shit. Swiss Beats he really is dope. I'm not shitting on Swiss Beats. I'm just saying that, yeah, you know, listen, man, you might have used something off of the Casio, bro.
Yeah.
You might have did that. You know what I mean? But Hey, when I first started, like I said in the beginning of this interview, when I first started using MTV Music Generator, I was going into presets.
Yeah.
I was trying to break them down. I was trying to learn the science to it. So that's all good, Swizz.
And Rough Riders Volume 1 is one of my favorite albums. So he hates it, but I love it.
I don't know. I hate the beats. Swizz, man, don't get me fucked up, Swizz. Swizz, I love you, but I hate that. All the beats on there sound crazy, bro. That's not my shit.
Yeah.
But I love the locks.
And DMX.
And DMX. Hell
and
yeah.
Jay-Z.
And Jay-Z. And
Jadakiss.
That is the locks.
Oh, you're right. I've been drinking shit.
There's shit that I love too that I know is like not actually good, but there's some nostalgia there, you know, where I'm like, when I was a teenager, I listened to it and I liked it, so I still want to listen to it now. But like, there's some shit too that I listen to and I'm like, that shit is evil. Like, evil shit is coming through that music. Like Lady fucking Gaga. When I listen to it, I'm like, that's Gaga.
But she's dope as fuck.
That's the thing though. No, I love it because of the whatever it does to your brain likes that shit. Right, and you hear it so many times, and then it's like in my head. Like I woke up in the middle of the night hearing her fucking song that I hadn't heard actually in real life for years, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like that should not be happening."
That would freak me out.
Yeah.
I don't like it, and I like she's all into that.
Better than your skin. Lady Gaga tracks is in your hair.
Have you seen that shit where she was standing with the dead fucking body and the pile of blood, and she's got her witch's wand and bullshit?
Yes.
I've never seen that. I don't know.
Well, she
bitch.
Madam Bathory, like she loves the whole blood, you know.
Oh yeah,
My wife is into more pop culture than I am. I love pop culture, but I'm not into.
I'm an '80s baby.
Yeah.
So I was there when MTV fucking launched the first video, man. I watched the fucking popcorn, you know.
Right.
No, but that's
joint.
No, but that's the thing. No, let me rephrase what I said.
Okay.
I love pop culture. It's just I don't really vibe with the new age pop culture. Like once all the new shit started popping off, like after like 2000 and all that, you know, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you were born in the 80s as well, but I was born in the 70s. So for me, 80s was really I was there for it all.
Shit,
right.
You had the vibe.
I went.
I wish I had that vibe.
Again,
right? Yo, hold on. How old are you, Lindsay?
Yeah, I'm 37.
37?
So I was born in 81. So my brother was 76, and I got from him, I feel like because I had a brother that was born in the 70s, I got like the good shit, and I feel like I would have missed it if I didn't.
Very much.
What about you?
I am 33 years old, about to be 34 this year in July.
Nice.
Congratulations.
And ask my wife how old she is.
How old is
I'm just gonna say I was born in 72. You do the math.
All right. You guys seem like the same age, but I feel you. You have like a different look on. You have a different experience.
My wife has about My wife has about 12 and a half years on me.
Well, very much, yeah. And so the experience, even though we share music, but because he was that, you know, his production was very nostalgic. I picked that up immediately. I was fucking listening to Boogie Down Productions and fucking Public Enemy and Run DMC and fucking Rakim. So for me, it was like, holy shit, you know, it was always about the movement from day one. I didn't give a fuck about I like Dougie Fresh and the whole fun part of it and shit, but at the end of the day, I was living what I was listening to. You know what I'm saying?
Before I came through to see her,
you know,
what was the name of the song that I did?
Oh man, thank you.
Not thank you.
I can't remember.
Hold on, I gotta look.
But yeah, there was a song.
Let me check.
That kind of sparked our conversation because I felt like, damn, that was something. But I don't know, man. Music is fucking powerful, dude.
Tired.
Yeah.
Hold on. I need to go get my charger.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So you know what?
My
wife's about to go get it. We can do this. So I have a song called Tired, right? And in that song, I'm basically saying like, I'm tired of, you know what? I might, oh no, I'm on the phone. Yeah, I can't use my phone.
You're like gonna play it on your phone.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, so the song is basically saying like I'm tired of all the family issues, right? I'm tired of, my father fighting with my mother. I'm tired of my other brother fighting with my other brother. I'm tired of all the regular life struggling and all of that, right? So, that's basically the synopsis of the song, right?
Right.
And when my wife heard it at the time, who wasn't my wife, she just gravitated to that shit, yo. In a way where it was like fucking like an attachment, She was listening to that shit like fucking 30 times a day.
Because you put your soul into that, and she was like, that's the soul that I want.
Yeah, so, and with the things that I was saying and stuff like that, and my wife is heavy into research, like I research things, but I'm more of a, and I don't know if this means anything to anybody, but I feel like my natural creative thought process, right, makes ideas and brings things to me that when I do find out about people that have research and talk to me about stuff, I feel like I'm already aware of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do. I feel like that's a thing when you guys were talking about like, Jesus and the Pope saying that if he died for his sins, it was a waste or whatever. Like, I feel like what the truth is that all masters that have traveled this path to enlightenment, it's not that they died for our sins or that they did something for us, it's that they showed us the way. But our experiences are what actually can lead us to a place where we are.
Absolutely.
Right? So like what you're saying is your experience and your ability to think and reflect on your experience is what informs you of reality, right? And then like maybe research confirms that. Maybe you see shit and you're like, yeah, I remember that. Like that's what I was thinking.
Look, it's not to sound disillusional, right? Like,
right.
like I'm just fucking imagining shit, right? Like,
no.
I meant to say delusional.
Right. I got
it's not to sound like that, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not separated from reality. I'm in there. I see everything that happens, I'm with a woman who's, even if I didn't want to know what was happening,
she's gonna tell you.
She's telling me, so I'm so fucking aware of so much, you know what I mean? With what I'm saying, I feel like it's truly accurate. Like, man, I talk to people and people be like, yo, bro, I never really thought of that shit like that. Like when I put things into perspective, and it's not to sound like I know it all. I'm just saying, like with the things that I experienced, with the shit that I learned throughout the research that, I'm around and that I do myself, and, just me knowing what I know and just getting like mental downloads, I feel like it's fucking universal. Like it's like mental fucking downloads. Like they just pop up in you.
Right.
And you're like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
it's like epiphany. You have an epiphany. Like and I feel like anyone who wants that experience can have it, If you clear your mind and you sit and you're quiet and you're connected and you're like feeling that, then you're asking for that or you want that, like that's going to happen for you. I feel like the universe talks or the God talks or whatever you want to call it if you're listening.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're really like the difference between you and so many other people is you're choosing to listen, right? Or you're choosing to like think about it.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like, all right, look, if you was all alone by yourself, just thinking and thinking and thinking, it's kind of like imagine Stephen Hawking or something, right? Stephen Hawking's, how many people are really, like when he's alone, right? How many people are really thinking on his level? I understand, like he's a scientist, like, yes, he's a scientist, but, whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah,
like as a genius.
The fucking, thought process, like to me, of just being alone and just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. What happens? Eventually you come to a conclusion, something. You make something. You have to, You keep thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. So to me, that's what I feel like it is for me. Like, I kind of just sit and really just fucking think, And I feel like that's what makes shit up for me. When I did the David Ruffin project, that had nothing to do with other than me being in a factory working and thinking in my head that the machines were moving in sync with what I would think of as a time signal for music.
Yeah.
So you got machines going. In my head, that sounds like music.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So when you're just there thinking and thinking, shit comes up like you get like these fucking downloads, babe. Can you
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta give me a second. Let me plug this in. If it even reaches.
It's like you're taking inspiration from everything that's around you, literally. Just because you're aware.
I might have to move my angle. Hold on
right.
1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me plug this in.
I love your studio.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Last shoot.
Yeah, of that one. I'm trying to get this propped up. Oh, you know what? I have a back piece. Yeah, right here. Get my wife in here.
You don't have to, Ben.
What you mean I don't have to? You're my wife.
Okay.
Trying to get it right. Right here, bang, bang, bang. Right there. Perfect.
I love it.
Okay, give me the smoke.
Okay, here. Sorry, we're passing weed around.
You gotta give me a little elbow room.
No, you need to move a little over. No, actually, you're good. Actually, you're good.
I just need a room to roll.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
You're perfect.
Do you have more deep, Eddie?
Nope. Eddie's gone.
So sad. The loss. I'm sorry for your loss.
I still have plenty of aqua and ice water, though.
No, I was looking for a little more alcohol.
No.
But that's okay. Here. So, all right. So, back to the interview.
Back to this. Where are we? Where should we go? Oh, this is what I want to know. I want to know because you're clearly like a very inspired, motivated, passionate creator, right? And it seems like you're on like a journey. You have a sort of, I don't know if you feel like it's actually, maybe that's a good question. Do you feel like you have like a mission that you're trying to accomplish through your music? Is there like something that you're purposely trying to get out in the world, or is it just like whatever comes in the moment? Do you know what I mean?
I never looked at it as a mission.
All right.
To be honest with you, if I've ever looked at my music as a mission, it's always been to do spiritual music.
Yeah.
And invite people to it. Not to sound like a you know what I mean?
Because it's not, because when you listen to it, you don't get like a church vibe or anything, but like I feel what you mean. It's kind of like what we were talking earlier about just like putting your emotion into it or putting your soul into it. Yeah,
see, the thing is with me, honestly, like, because I am embedded into spirituality and stuff like that, I feel like if I was to actually put it into that perspective, it would be that, like, I would be trying to preach to the world, but at the same time, I don't want to seem like a preacher either. So. Right.
I don't think you come across that way. And like, I obviously haven't spent like hours and hours like diving into your stuff, but what I've heard is really profound and deep and moving. And so I appreciate it. I like that kind of stuff. And also, and it also obviously like sounds dope, which is
So
helpful too.
you heard Gone to Infinity. You listened to that, right?
Yeah, that's what I want to put at the end of this so people can hear that in
Yeah.
full. Yeah.
If anybody was to listen to Gone to Infinity, they would know that I'm not thinking on like the
Right.
normal. I mean, you know,
right.
it's a little bit above, you know. So
I love that because that's what I think people need. Like we were talking about, like you grew up with people who are inspiring you to think, and that kind of shit is going to make other people think. Especially people who otherwise what they have to choose from is like pretty slim, or at least it's not.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when you're thinking about people like yo, I grew up on fucking dudes like Killer Priest and RZA. Like Wu-Tang is a big influence. Like I said earlier, Mobb Deep and shit like that. Like dudes that was just. And right now, oh my god, right now, yo, shout out to my nigga Cambada.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Repping Connecticut.
Oh my god.
Incredibly. And I'm very, very humbled and proud.
Yo, what? New Haven, stand the fuck up, nigga. Yes. Yo, Lindsay, listen to Cambada. I'll send you his music after we're done with this shit. All right.
Awesome.
It's Cambatta. All right. Cambada. Cambatta. My guy is fucking incredible. Woo! Oh my god. Cambada fucking beast. Hell yeah. But yeah, that's like the type of shit that I'm fucking inspired by. Like these man, even before Cambada, right? Like you know, listening to Wu-Tang and shit like that. Like, man, you know, RZA got songs, you know, that you just be like, there's a song I think it's called Sunshine, or I forgot what it's on. Oh my god, I forgot what it's on. But he's talking about that fucking they had ears of corn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That shit was fucking incredible. I think it's called Sunlight. That's what it's called. Sunlight. It's called Sunlight. It's so fucking deep. Like when you listen to these songs, you know, like these dudes just telling you about things that's just so incredible. You know, they just enlighten you to be, if not to be a researcher, then to be better. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like,
or to just know that there's more.
It picks you up. Like,
right.
No, not to know that. I mean,
more than just that hip-hop that we're listening to.
It's more, yeah.
Yeah, I'm teaching you something. This is music. This is, okay, you get the basic, you know, A, B, C, D, you know, whatever. You can get disconnects to that, but when you, it's a higher, they're resonating on a higher fucking frequency anyway.
Right.
So, you know, you're able to say that, and you're still learning from them 20 years later.
Yeah.
No. And not just them, you know, a whole bunch of people, you know. I listen to all kind of shit, you know, and I'm just like, wow.
One of our favorites is Absol. Fucking TDE, period. But the Absol, oh my god! And it took me a minute because I was very much.
I love Absol.
I'm fucking old school, boom bap. Nas is my favorite.
Yeah.
So I stopped at Nas. You know what I mean? And
I love Nas too.
I got with him, and his music actually got me out of the whole boom bap. You know, I stop at a certain period. You know what I mean? So now I can say I fuck with Absol, you know, and many others that I probably wouldn't have given a fair shot.
Because that's the thing. You know how many people, yo, I ain't trying to adapt. Like that's the thing. I don't want to adapt. And then you got people that are like old school boom bap has that. Like I said earlier, you know, how is Kendrick a dude that you can't fuck with because
they don't understand the involvement. Because if you listen to the first record,
but that's my point. Is that people? It's not that they can't understand the involvement. They don't want to evolve.
Yeah.
Well, very true. Right. Yes, that goes hand in hand. Is what
because shit moves on.
Right.
You can get left back if you want to, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like get left back, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's on you. But shit move on. And there's motherfuckers out here that's doing incredible shit.
That makes me happy because I guess I feel like from where I'm sitting, I'm not looking very hard, but I just see like what's put out and what's popular, and especially what my students are listening to, and it's like saddening and terrifying. You know, but like it gives me hope that there's actually a lot out there for people to tap into, and that it's still alive. It hasn't died yet. Which makes me ask a question I wanted to ask you, like, is there anything that could stop you from creating music?
Hell fucking no.
I like that answer.
Hell no.
He'd have to not have use of his hands. God bless his hands.
Yeah.
No, listen, I've always had fears of being blind and stuff like that because, man, what would I do if I can't see these programs? You know, like, what? Man, that would kill me. That would destroy me. You know, it's not like back in the day, right? You know, you got Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder and stuff like that. You know, these guys they're not doing music the way I do music. You know what I mean? They're playing the piano, right. They're writing music and stuff like that. They might have somebody there that's, helping them within whatever, like with me, you know what I mean? Even aside from anybody that's blind, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like,
well, God, Kanye, I love Kanye. Dude, sometimes he fucking amazes me. I'll sit here and I listen to Eric, and it's like, yo, it's like fucking Kanye. You know what I mean? Like, on that level.
Well, Kanye is...
But better than Kanye, actually. Yeah. It's Kanye.
I don't want to say that. I say that. Because I ain't putting that out there. No, because I ain't putting that out there.
That's not what you're putting out there.
Maybe I understand what you're saying. I'm just telling you what I'm saying. I'm not putting that out there as me. I don't say that. I'm a humble ass nigga. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I understand Kanye is a genius at what he do. Others might disagree. They might say that he's whack as fuck. I know what I listen to. I know what's good music. And I know that when I listen to Kanye West, that fucking dude is a fucking mastermind. All right? I don't care what nobody says. If you like Thanos Beats and I praise that nigga, how the fuck can you not like him? You know what I mean? That's just like, that nigga's crazy though. Anyway,
Do you think he's crazy because he's MK Ultra?
Yes,
I do too. I love him too. I'm not gonna lie, I love him.
That's the thing, is that it's all fucked up, right? Yeah. Look, if I wasn't into hip hop, right? Let's just say I was a pop fan, right? At one point, did not Britney Spears go through some crazy shit, right? Yeah. Britney Spears went through some shit where we was like, yo, what the fuck is she going? She shaves her head. She was doing crazy shit, right? What the fuck is the difference?
Yeah. Right. No, you know what I mean? I think she's MK Ultra too.
Yeah, she's MK Ultra too.
The best of them are.
She's MK Ultra too. But Britney Spears is still fucking Britney Spears.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
They want her because she is Britney fucking Spears. They want Kanye because he is Kanye fucking West.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is not no regular shit.
But it's again, these are people that make the influence is incredible. You look at Britney. How many records of Britney? I used to follow Britney shit by default. My sister loved Britney and Christina. It was her era. So I know a lot about the whole Mickey Mouse, the Ryan Gosling, the instinct. Yeah. I was there for that. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at that and I say, fuck, Britney Spears, Kanye West, it's the same fucking programming. You know what I'm saying? It's the same.
The breakdown is the same.
Lindsay Lohan, I can go on and on. I mean, there's many different within the actual music industry as well. Actors, they kind of hit up a little bit more. You know what I mean? In the sense that you have Disney, and you don't get any bigger than Walt Disney. If you look at my favorite, which one? Fantasia. Fantasia. You see all the fucking phalluses and shit now that I didn't as a kid, and I had that shit on VHS.
It was in your subconscious. It was in your subconscious.
It's crazy.
Disney owns like the world. Disney owns all the media. They're fucking evil.
And Britney was fucking Disney. All these kids, Mickey Mouse Club, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So these kids are picked and targeted because they know. The way I see it, they know the people that are going to make those big influences. The Michael Jacksons, the Kanye's, the Britneys, the Beatles. I look at the fucking, the White Album. Come the fuck on. And I love the Beatles. It's one of my favorite fucking groups. But they were also MK Ultra. Yeah. They were also, there's a lot of shit in there that is questionable. You know? I look at what happened to Lennon and I say, fuck, man. But look at Paul and who was to benefit from the death. You see what I'm saying? He's worth more dead than alive.
Right.
What was that movie called? Something Monkeys.
Seven Monkeys.
Seven Monkeys. There you
Yeah.
go. Some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know?
So
you know, is programming.
MK Ultra is you have a rapper now. What's his name? The stupid motherfucker saying he's a clone.
Yeah, but that's
open.
But that's trolling.
True or not,
that's trolling.
Regardless if it's trolling, you might get.
Fuck that nigga.
Regardless, listen to what I'm trying to say. For the people who are not, you know, aware, they might see that and be like, "Oh shit!" And then for the people that are aware, like me, I say, "Damn, what is the reason that they're letting him do this?" Because the people control YouTube. I don't give a fuck what they say. We think we can put what we want up. Everything
but they control everything.
So my point, if they control everything and they have him, he has fucking 300,000 hits on that fucking video.
Yeah.
Do you think they know that? They can remove that shit. They're not going to.
Right.
Why?
Right.
So fuck that nigga. Yes, like you're saying, I agree with you. But understand the smoke, separate the static from the fucking signal.
Shit,
you know what I'm saying?
I know. I'm
for those that don't know,
I'm just saying fuck that nigga because that's the type of nigga that they put in the forefront.
Yeah.
Fuck that nigga.
Yeah, but look what he's talking. He's talking clones in hip hop.
I know that. I know that.
That's bizarre.
But while lying. So
right, and then I look at Kanye, and I'm not saying that he's a clone, but damn, man, there's something happening there.
Nah, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. And man, this could be argued or whatever the fuck. That type of genius is not fucking being emulated.
Hell no.
So if Kanye's a clone, man.
It's a great clone, right?
Because right now, and his fucking, you know what I'm saying, property, doing Sunday services and shit like that, and making some of the illest fucking choir music that I've ever heard, you know? That nigga's killing it right now. Come on. That nigga ain't no clone right now. No,
I'm not saying that he is a reason, but I'm saying
that's a genius that cannot be emulated. I'm saying that
they've already, again, who controls the narrative?
They just fucking people. They fucking his head up and they're fucking our head up.
Listen, they are by letting the content be released on the platforms. So if you're able to really see this content, you're gonna say shit. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they have to make it questionable. Is he crazy? Is he this? Is he that? Because they discredit the fucker. So whoever it may be, the Britneys, pick one. Michael.
But exactly. Because it don't matter who you're trying to talk about. Anybody that mentions any kind of topic like that is considered crazy.
Look at what David Bowie said before he died. David Bowie was telling us some shit. You know what I'm saying? He was talking like we talk, and I said, "Fuck." That's David telling us, you know, wake the fuck up.
Nipsey Hussle,
he's dead.
Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle just died and created the biggest fucking, you know what I mean? Like revolutionary things. It's like fucking Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and shit like that. We've never seen niggas come together like that. I know. You know what I mean?
This is an exciting time to be in.
Like, come on, yo, yo. Greats exist, you know what I mean? This is not all MK Ultra. It's not all MK Ultra. No. There's people out here trying to fucking reach us. Right. I think Kanye's one of them niggas, even though he's been a nigga that's been reached.
Yeah. Right. I agree.
I think he's one of them niggas.
I agree.
I think so. I think he's trying to tell people something.
Exactly.
I don't know how able he's going to be to get that message out, and I don't know how many people are going to see it, but I think he's trying.
It's up to us.
No,
it's up
but
to
remember,
us to figure it out.
He said it in his concert, which I watched the fucking feed, and he said it. They're coming. This is what's happening. Fucking, and that night they had the 2020 hold, whatever the fuck they have in California, and he was put into the hospital right from the fucking concert. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, I gotta separate. Hey, remember Katrina? Bush hates black people. Remember that, right?
Right.
Come on.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can go on and on. Kanye's been battling this shit for a long time. It's never going to take away from his genius. I don't like his tactics at times. It can get tacky. But again, he's fucking glitch, dude. It's like throwing a water on the fucking circuit board. I'm not mad at him. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel sad for him.
Me too.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
So then what's up with him coming out of the hospital and Donald Trump being there? And I'm like, what, were they friends before that? Did anybody
Right.
ever see them together before that? And like, was that what the fuck happened? It's like what often does a president go like visit
You know what?
anyone?
I just did a project not too long ago for cannabis. Well, actually, I did 3 projects for cannabis. Are you familiar with cannabis?
No.
He had a battle with LL Cool J.
He's a famous battle rapper.
Yes.
I'm like retarded with all pop culture, basically.
All right. Well, I did 3 projects for cannabis, and in one of those projects, he says that Donald Trump, basically, besides being a president, before all of this shit, before he was in the Oval Office and all of that, that he was cool with rappers and he don't think that he was acting, right?
Huh.
I mean, we've seen Donald Trump in all kind of, like pictures and videos with all kind of fucking people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Presidential wise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on, This fucking guy's an actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
he's literally fucking, you know what I mean? The same dude that I would sit in the club with and pop a bottle and be like, yo, we're gonna fucking smoke cigars or smoke fucking joints or whatever.
And
That's
grab
the
him by the
same- that's
pussy.
the fake. Yeah, that's the fucking same dude that I would fucking be with. And the
That's
fucking
true.
club would be like, yo, that bitch is bad over there. Yo, Trump, we gotta fuck the shit out of that bitch.
Yeah.
But you gotta go
What?
down the other rabbit hole. Did you see the video of the movie that they made in 1953? If I'm not mistaken, it was in black and white.
I don't know
And-
what year, but that shit was crazy.
And the movie had a gentleman who was running for president named Trump. It talked about how he wanted to build a wall, okay?
What?
I don't know if he was running for
Well, I
president.
heard
right.
about this. I heard about it,
was
but I
in-
haven't seen it.
Yeah, I saw he was
He
running
was
for
in a town. He was trying
he
to
was
protect
running,
them
he
niggas
was
that built a
trying to
wall.
get elected for something within the town, okay?
Okay.
So, but he wanted to build a wall. He wanted to do all these grand things, very like grandiose, like Trump does now. But very what do you want to call that word? Very out there, very like
Ostentatious?
Totalitarian.
yes, very
Okay.
much so. So, long story short, there's an assassination at the end of the film, right? But everybody, down to even people that are in his cabinet, are named in the film. So it's not just Trump. There were 2 other gentlemen that are actually in office with him now that are in the movie as well. And it was a Western, and it was played on CBS. It was actually a mainstream network. But they're bringing it now, and they're showing us what the fuck is going on. So I say, here we go with the whole mind fuck, with this whole Trump, because it's real. I did the research. I saw the film myself. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? There's too many correlations.
Here's my crazy brain. Like, is it possible it didn't exist until 2 years ago, and they've just like created articles and like old looking things to say that it was old?
Yes, I thought about that, but then I thought about that. But then you have people that were going into the archives of CBS. That shit is hard to find. You can't even, like, people were actually sequestering documents and shit. Like the people like us that want answers, and have lawyers, and we're gonna get the fucking answers. And they actually have the archive for the film, the date, the people that were in it. Because if it's a film, there's more than one person. You have the grand production here, CBS. You know what I'm saying?
Because there's also that book, the Baron Trump and his magical underground journeys or whatever, and then The Last President after that.
Yeah.
So now that's like the second, and I've heard there's more too. Like if you go back through older movies, there's other things with like people like Trump. Maybe it wasn't named Trump, but it's like the same exact type of guy becomes president or whatever. So why do we have like that? All those examples throughout history of like predicting this seemingly? And
it could be, you're right. What they can manipulate anything nowadays. We have holograms. We can have anything. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you. And that mind pattern and that mind thought. But what happens if the people start questioning shit? What are they doing it for? They're not just putting it out for nothing. You know what I'm saying? They're letting it be known. So whether it's fiction or nonfiction or whatever you want to call it, it's still going to put the question in people's heads. You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing? Going to get assassinated, like in the film or whatever you want to call it?
Or is it going to be like the book where he takes full control over the country, totalitarian style, like there is no more elections and we have an emperor now?
I think we're going into a dictatorship.
Well, we're already in there. We're already in. It's imperialism. Actually,
No, I'm talking about full on.
The way I see it.
About full on.
No, it's coming. No doubt.
Out of Fidel Castro shit.
Well, more like
we have with like the Patriot Act and the NDAA, we have the structure in place for him to make himself an emperor without even breaking a law, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and people like love that shit when it is like Obama who has it, but then when Trump has that power, they're like, oh God, it's like they're this fucking. It was a bad idea, no matter who's there, no matter who's in power, like that time power is not. Yeah.
It's just the face.
It's just the face for the puppetry.
It's just the face.
I know the puppetry is a very small group of people. It has and you know, you can talk the Zionists, you can go many different directions, okay? But at the end of the day, again, who the fuck controls the narrative? I've been on that for the last month now because I'm looking at history and I'm going back into Rome and I'm going back into Egypt and I'm looking at all these kings and then I go to even to fucking the medieval shit and I look at these kings and I said, wait a minute. Then I look at Hitler and I'm like, yo, it's who the fuck controls the narrative? Be it right, be it true, be it false, whatever the fuck you manipulate the people with is what it's gonna be.
Right.
And if the people don't stand up and fucking question shit, back to 9/11, we were just talking about the whole fucking Patriot Act and shit.
Right.
That was all fucking baby Bush ushered that shit. And now we have to have this, protect our country. No, it fucking took our rights, dude. It fucking fucked us completely.
Sent us into eternal war, took all our rights. And everyone cheered for it because they were like, God bless the USA. Don't question. There was even what was the fucking thing that they were saying? Like, I can't remember, but people were saying shit like it was a super patriotic statement, basically. They were like, basically, if you question or you talk bad about the United States, you're either with us or against us, sort of shit. And I had never heard that before. I mean, I was only like 18 or something, but I'd still like never heard people talk like that. And then that happened, and all of a sudden you couldn't criticize the United States, you couldn't criticize the president, you couldn't criticize going to war, or else you were like not a patriot and you were with the terrorists and you wanted to attack. And I was like, this is scary that people just like instantly go into that mindset. And you're instantly the enemy for not being in that mindset.
You know what? Fuck the president.
Fuck the president.
Well, in New York, you were just talking about New York earlier. $1,000 if you do not vaccinate your child, you will be considered a public risk, and they will come to your door and take you out and give you the vaccine and teach you why you need to have the vaccine. Okay. Kind of like
they got that.
Yeah, and then you can go home, okay? But you have to be a good, you get a slap on the wrist and shit. But this is happening right now. We're fucking how far from New York, so you get the domino effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that should drag on. So that's all it's gonna do. It's just gonna go.
They're legalizing this weed
from there on.
They're doing all these things. They're giving us all these things that they've taken and had just took from us, and now. They're giving it to us in the sense that it's like a fruit basket. I always use this analogy, but you're fucking telling me that you can be what you want to be. It's the American dream. Dream big. You can have it all, but you are giving me the apples and the lemons and the fucking rotten fruit from the fucking fruit basket. But there's so much fruit in it, I would never know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what the fuck, man? So once you figure out that, like George Carlin used to say, the fucking joke's on you. You're in the club. They beat you in the head with the club. You're fucking done. There's nothing that we can do. You asked the question earlier, more or less of, what could be done now. There's really nothing that could be done because it's all within self. Right now we're in that era, the Aquarius, age of Aquarius, so to speak. You have to kind of step into your own power, figure out what's real for you, and stop looking for that father figure, mother figure, invisible hand in the sky. And I'm not telling anybody to stop believing what they want to believe either.
There's something bigger.
But yes, and it's within ourselves.
And we don't know it, yo. Yeah. And it's something that we all need to be on. Yes. But we just don't know it, yo.
Yes. And most of us,
and some people think they know it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think we fucking know it.
No, but that's the thing. God bless us with life, but what happens to those of us who, you may never figure it out or think you have figured it out, you know what I'm saying? But you keep waking up every day and going through new experiences that keep changing. Eventually you're going to have to evolve and change the information. The download is just fucking changing.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna cipher that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Only you can do that.
I love that message though, that it's like within ourselves, because I think that that is that spiritual battle, is like whether you want to think of it as actual evil or demons or whatever you want to think of it as, like it's still within yourself that you got to find your truth and your power, and like, you know, live that, really like make that something that's real in your life, because that I guess that's the only shit that you really have. That's the only power that you really have in the face of all of that. You know?
Right, right. But stepping into your power is kind of scary if you're taught that everything is, you know, don't go down the rabbit hole. Don't ask any questions. I don't give a fuck. Pick a religion. They're all, there's so many taboos unless you're looking at Eastern religions and shit. But all this Western shit is so
Ain't no,
fucking
it don't matter what.
no,
there's
but,
taboo.
no, there's taboos in other,
Yeah.
no doubt. Because you also have religions that I was just watching the stuff with Africa and the girls and how, you know, they're doing with the castration and all this shit, you know.
Yeah.
So let me rephrase that, but what I'm saying is that spirituality, spiritual-wise, let me rephrase that, spiritual-wise, it's a whole different ballgame than what it is here. It's like we're oppressed here to kind of step into that power and try to figure out, you know, what is spirit? What is that to you? Where in other countries, they're open with that. And they're like, you know, there's more than one thing. You know what I'm saying? There's many gods. There, you know, whatever it is. Over here, you thought opposite. So
I think we've been like disempowered though. You know, like that's why it's scary for people to step into their powers, because we've been basically taught to rely on everything else besides ourselves for our whole lives. And so thinking about like recognizing our own power, then that means we have to take responsibility for every moment of our life. And that's scary, right? We don't want to. We're like, no, just take care of me. Just take care of me, government. Just take care of me, mom and dad. Just take care of me, society. And like, I don't want to, you know, that's scary to like have to do all that yourself.
Entitlement. That's that Michael Jackson Man in the Mirror. If it wasn't truer, you know what I mean? Because you have to look in the mirror in order to step into your power. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's time consuming, and it's actual mental work. And then comes the physical work, because then you got to change what you eat, and you got to change, you know, your habits and your style, and you know, it shifts some shit. So most of us just don't want to deal with that. So you can know, like you said, you can know, but really, what do you know?
Right.
You know
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I feel that.
All right. I feel like we're gonna bring it to a close, but I want to make sure, Thanos, that people know where to find you, especially that David Ruffin shit, and also the Infinity. Well, they're gonna hear that at the end, actually, but I just want people to know where to go.
If anybody wants to reach me, they can go to my my Facebook page and my Instagram page, which is basically Thanos Beats. All you have to do is just Google Thanos Beats and all my accounts come up. I'm not working off of any major platforms right now. My reason is because they're all fucking rapists.
Yeah, they are.
And I feel like it's better for me to go hand to hand with every customer than to have them actually do it for me. Because what's a fucking 40-cent gain compared to a 40-cent loss when you're talking about a $12 sale?
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
So if I'm fucking selling something for $12 and you're gonna pay me like 40 fucking cents, you know, for the whole fucking $12, as opposed to me telling somebody, here's my PayPal. If you want the project, I'll fucking ship it right to you. I have CDs, or if you don't want CDs, I'll give you the digital.
Yeah.
I'll ship it right fucking to you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm making the full profit on that. That's crazy. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, so if people want to reach me, you know, you can get my projects directly from me, because I'm doing things hand to hand. My Instagram is Thanos_Beats. It's no special way of spelling it. It's THANOS_BEATS. And on my Facebook, it's just Thanos Beats. THANOSBEATS. Yeah. So no_. Yeah, you can reach me on all of that. And David Ruffin.
Yeah. Go seriously, go listen right now.
Yeah,
That's
David
so
Ruffin is like fucking moving, yo. People love this shit, yo.
it's really good.
This is not regular music. Like
No.
I said, timeless music. I'm bringing something that is 50 years old back now.
Right,
So,
right in the springtime too, with the nice,
Yeah.
everything's in bloom, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
perfect.
it.
Perfect. Beautiful.
And thank you for creating that and sharing it with people. And I hope people go check it out. And I'm gonna put all that stuff in the show notes. So fellow travelers of the path, it is a beautiful thing. This has been your eclectic, concentric, analog dose of wisdom, according to Thanos. Thanos, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
And
It
your
was
lovely
dope.
wife, Betty. Betty, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having us.
You guys are awesome.
I had to bring her in.
Yes, I love it. You have to.
I
Like,
didn't
you're.
want to. I hesitated only because I saw your vibe and I heard it and I said, okay, she's cool.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think it's awesome because I think true marriage is like two people actually like united in soul, you know, and you guys are living that. So I'm glad that people get to see it because we don't have many examples of that in our world, right?
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So life is a series of possible pitfalls, challenges we never felt we needed, and sudden successes we didn't know we deserved. It can be difficult to see the path or find our way out, even more difficult to keep on giving when we don't always get what we deserve out of it all. But our specific gift, our specific challenge is to give freely of our creativity and keep pumping it out into the nearly deadened world because it leaves glimmering bits for people to follow from their dark caves of illusion, because it keeps us connected to the shimmering parts of ourselves that are most true and real. So while you're keeping the light alive, friends, as always, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first.
Yes.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know how to stop recording.